YouTube. We are going to do a fun blend today. This is honestly one of the harder jobs that I get to do. This is paint code WA382E beige metallic. This is like a 2004, 2005 Chevy pickup. Basically my plan of attack is going to be sealing this fender, because as you can see, this is not the same color. So I'm going to seal this fender with tan sealer, and then that's why my masking is up here, because I don't want to seal the edge of the door. So I just got to finish taping this up, tape my edge up, seal the fender, seal this new hood over here. This hood is absolutely massive. And the reason why I say this is one of like the harder jobs that I get is this color is very coarse, and being gold, beige color, they just like to fight. So this could either go really good or really south. I'm gonna do a couple of things to try to help me to make this go a little bit easier. This color, you know, I never really had an issue with it when I sprayed solvent. Water, dude, these golds and silvers can just fight you. So we're gonna kind of go through it, and I'll bring you along for the struggle. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go ahead and get all this stuff sealed. I'm not gonna record that. I'll just bring you guys back when it comes to spraying my base coat, and we'll see how this goes. Either it's gonna go really, really well, or I'm going to be in here for a while upset. So, all right, let's get to it. All right, guys, so now you can see I got all this sealed. I need to go mix up a little bit of blender so I can get a nice wet coat on this door. And then we'll get into the fight, man. I did find a high spot right there on this hood. I filmed a quick clip for my social media stuff. So if you want to see how I handle that little high spot, I just used a tap down and knocked it down, smoothed it out. Super, super simple. But this thing is ready for base coat. So let me go mix up some blender, get that door in a wet coat of blender, and then we'll see how this goes. All right, and as I mentioned, I'm gonna do just a nice wet coat on this. It'll kind of overlap with the fender, and that's okay. Make sure this gun's not gonna spit. Oh, our vent's sticking, hold on. Yep. I gotta go poke the vent. I had to go poke the vent in the top of my RPS because I've been using the same RPS for blender for a while. So sometimes that blender gets stuck up there, blocks the vent, and then you get no flow. All right, now we're good. There we go. All right, so that's all flashed off. That's what I want. We're gonna go ahead. I've got to adjust my air pressure real quick at the wall, but I'm gonna go ahead and get my first coat of base. Oh, never mind. We're literally perfect. I'm gonna get my first coat of base and just I'm gonna try to keep this pretty tight, because I really don't want to fight this color clear out here. So I'm not gonna like lend this a mile if I don't have to. So my first coat, I'm just gonna kind of flick into this edge. Once that dries, that's going to tell me, like my spray out card looks great on this color. These colors that are super coarse metallics, they don't like to lay down right. So we're going to try to keep it as tight as possible, but we're about to see what's gonna happen. All right, we'll see what that looks like after it dehydrates. Another little trick that I did with this was instead of the 10% reducer, I went to 20%. Over reducing this water, especially when it's dry in the winter months, helps to just lay everything out. I also don't do wet on wet in the winter for that reason as well, because obviously over reducing this base, doing wet on wet, I'm going to get runs if I do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry. Well, let's go do the hood real quick. All right, so as usual, let's do the underside. I'm gonna just do one coat on the underside. This basically had matte base coat on the factory one, so all I'm going to do is just do a light coat on the inside, and then when I go to clear it, I'm just going to basically dust it on there. That's all it's going to need. All right, let's go ahead and do the top side. All right, so I don't know if you guys noticed, but when I was spraying, I'm trying to utilize that fan and keep a nice tight overlap, and I did spray this pretty wet. I'm gonna let this completely flash off. I'll probably get my blowers in here, get this all dry. Depending on what this looks like after it's dry, I might cross coat this, because this uses the coarsest metallic that we have. It can be kind of a bear to spray, so cross-coating, interlocking all those metallics, it could help us in this situation. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry. We'll see what it looks like. If it's super stripy, we'll cross-coat it. If it's not, we'll probably just do it just like this, just a little bit lighter coat, just to build up that color. Yeah, I'll bring you guys back when this is all flashed off. All right, guys, so this is after one coat. It is a little blotchy, a little stripy, but just looking at this looks like coverage will fix it. So for my second coat, I'm gonna back up a little bit and maybe not spray it quite as wet and just try to level this out. Worst case scenario, I will cross coat this for a third coat, but we're just gonna go for it on the second one. So I'm fairly confident that after 2 coats I can smooth this out. So I'm gonna just do it traditionally, and yeah, I'll bring you guys along and let you see what it looks like. This is simply just to show you guys that it's like, even though I've been doing this for a while, you're still gonna have your struggles, regardless. Check my pressure once again. Yep, we're good, we're right on the money. I'm spraying this at about 21 PSI. All right. right, one thing I want you to remember is that this is waterborne base coat. It always goes on looking like this. You're never gonna know if you sprayed it even until after it flashes. So yes, it looks blotchy. I promise it's going to look a heck of a lot better than this after it flashes. If we need to do 3 coats, my 3rd coat is gonna be this way, and then we'll control coat the other way. That'll be our cross coat. What I'm probably also going to do, and I only do this on super coarse metallic like this, is I'm going to do a wet coat of blender over the entire hood at the very end. What that'll do is that'll lock down all the metallic so I don't get any float after my control coat. It'll also show me if I need to control coat it again. Oh, and it'll also bury that metallic that's just sitting on the surface, so I'm not gonna have a ton of standing up metallic everywhere. On coarse stuff like this, I like to do it. I know it's an added step, it's an added cost. It beats buffing this thing all day. So I'll let this dry. Let's go over here. I'm gonna go get a little bit more paint, and then we're gonna go over there and finish out our blend. And we'll see how that goes. All right. All right, so now this fender is covered. That's 2 coverage coats and then 2 in my blend area. Once this dries, I'm gonna drop my pressure like 1 to 2 pounds. I don't like going crazy low. Just makes your droplets huge, and for me it doesn't help my metallics lay down at all. But I'll back up, do a nice control coat to finish off my blend and to smooth everything out on this fender. But you noticed this fender, being a smaller panel, is a lot smoother and less blotchy than that huge hood. That hood has crazy surface area. Trying to get metallics to lay down on something that big and flat, that's what you're going to fight. So I'm gonna go ahead and dehydrate this stuff, and I'll turn you guys back on when everything is dry, and we'll have a look at everything before we control coat it, and we'll also look at that hood and make our decision if we're gonna do 3 coverage coats on it or not. If that's the case, I am gonna go mix more base. So let me get this dry and we'll have a look. All right guys, so executive decision, I am gonna cross coat this. I am gonna need to go mix more base, but something large like this, it's always a good idea. Like, you're not gonna get that out with a control coat. It's just not going to happen. You can try like hell, but what's gonna happen is you're gonna have a whole lot of dry spray all over this. You go to clear it, it's gonna be a mess. So I'm gonna get this just in a 3rd coat, and we're gonna go this way across this big thing. I'll probably tip it up and spray it over here and just start at the bottom and just go across. So let me go mix more paint and we'll get that done. All right guys, I'm gonna tip this up and we're gonna do a cross coat. Our last coverage coat on this hood, and hopefully this helps. I'm sure in the camera, let me look, I'm sure this looks rough. Yeah, you can see the blotch. I'm gonna basically just start at the top and go across and just do my last coverage coat. Even if that's a little bit blotchy, it's going to help me to get rid of the striping, and then I can remove all of it with the control coat the opposite way. So let's go ahead and cross our fingers that this looks a heck of a lot better at the end of this coat. All right, that's our cross coat done. I'm gonna tip this down. And this was a super light coat, like semi-wet. You can tell that it's not as wet as all my previous ones. I did that for a reason, because this is kind of like a pre-orientation coat, just kind of tight overlap and just keep it moving. I can already tell that all of that tiger striping went away, so I'm gonna dehydrate this. I'll show you what it looks like. We'll drop a couple pounds, we'll get all this stuff control coated, but that coat right there, that third cross coat, coverage coat, basically should save this hood and make it look nice and even all the way across. Only the end result is going to tell, so let's see. All right guys, so you can still kind of see some of the lines. That's okay. Those are all gonna go away once this gets control coated. At this point, I know that we're all covered. So now I'm gonna go ahead and control coat this way, and that's gonna remove all the striping here and level all the metallics. So this should go pretty easy. Only thing to do is get it control coated and find out. Honestly, this should go pretty easy. I'm fairly confident that all of this is going to be gone after this. I am going to drop down like 2 pounds. So instead of 21, I'm going to control coat at 19. And that'll help us a little bit. There we go. Should be good. Nice tight overlap, about 12 inches away. Cross coat this one too, why not? Okay. Same thing. All right. Now you noticed I kind of did a double control coat. Went one way, finished off with a really light coat the other way. Same idea. Like me watching what's going down, I could just see a little bit left that I wanted to remove, so that's why I double control coated and went the opposite way. And I think this is about as good as we're going to make it. Only time's gonna tell once this flashes. But I don't see any stripes, nothing like that. Obviously, there's still some water content in this that's flashing off, so at the moment I can't tell 100%, but for the most part, I'm very happy with that. We're going to let this completely dry. We'll check it again. I'm gonna do a coat of blender over the whole thing anyway. Let's go do our blend and finish that out. All right, same thing. I'm gonna control coat it the same way. Except on this, because it laid down fairly smooth, I'm not gonna need to cross coat it. My blend ends right in here. I think you can see that on camera. I'm gonna just go slightly past that, get all of that color to blend, and then the same thing, I'm gonna do a coat of blender over the whole thing, verify that it looks pretty good, then we'll clear it. right. You can see that I kind of did a angle blend out here, and that's just to kind of hide it in the middle of this door. Once that flashes, I think we're gonna be all right. I might have to do one more little control in there, but we're gonna see. I'm making this video so you see that it's not as easy as it looks on Instagram, TikTok, stuff like that. It looks really easy on there. Some colors are that easy, but golds, silvers can be a bear to fight. But overall, I think we're gonna be okay. Let's let this dry and we'll have a look. This looks pretty decent. I'm starting to get into some of the blotch that was already here, so I gotta be careful with that. I'm gonna get a coat of blender over this whole thing so I can really have a look. And I don't need a lot. I'm gonna just do a coat tip to tail just to make sure that all of this looks correct. This hood, I think, is about as good as I'm going to get it. As you guys can see, it is smooth. There's no striping, no nothing. So I'm gonna probably just hit the flash cycle after I do a coat of blender over the top of this. And once all of that's dry, that'll really tell us what this looks like. I'm not trying to rush this and end up redoing this hood because I don't like it. So let's go ahead and do a coat of blender over that, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. All right, guys, I literally couldn't have asked for this to go any better. This is super, super nice. I did end up doing 3 coats on this hood because it is gigantic, and I wanted to make sure that we were super clean. It looks beautiful. So check this blend. And again, like I said, guys, this blend is not perfect. This color doesn't like to play nice, but I can live with this. You can see this door is pretty beat up, so I can live with that. My booth lights in here are a heck of a lot harsher than sunlight and light in the shop. So if it looks like this in here, I know out in the shop it's gonna look pretty damn good. So we're gonna rock that. And guys, I wanted to make this video simply to show you guys that even people that have been doing this for a while will struggle with these colors. Super coarse metallics like this, they just like to fight. I don't care if you're spraying water or solvent. With solvent, I definitely wouldn't have fought this nearly as much, simply because solvent doesn't cover as fast as water, so your blending is a heck of a lot easier, and you can just stack your coats until it comes out smooth. And here soon, we will have Sunfire Pro Solvent installed here alongside 9K. Just like I had at the auction, I'm super excited to have it again. Colors like this and jobs like this, I will definitely be using solvent. So I'll get to be able to make that content for you guys and show you how to use that other kind of paint. And it's just gonna be beneficial for us overall and for you guys. So I'm looking forward to that. We're gonna install that at just after the first of the year. So 2024, we will have that the whole time. And yeah, thanks for coming and hanging out, watching me struggle. I'm glad that this one went well. It doesn't always go like this, but this one came out very nice and I'm very happy with it. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you made it this far, please hit the like. That just bumps the video up, gets recommended more, and I greatly appreciate it. So until next time, thank you for watching.